Cheeseburgers. What? Who said cheeseburgers? Oh, I bet that got your attention. Today, in this video, this crash course video, we're going to talk about how the comedic influence of the 80s affected our view on the 80s today. So, when you think of iconic 80s movies, or these comedy movies, at least I think of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, The Goonies, Ghostbusters, movies like that. And back in those movies had a very specific type of tone to them, and they portrayed a different feeling a lot different feeling than comedy movies do today in 2017 or in the 2000s. So we choose 80s movies to represent the American dream in the 80s because 80s movies portray a clear idea of what people sought to be in the 80s, or their American dream. What these people wanted to be was successful, wealthy, and they also wanted recognition or notoriety from people. In this video, we're going to be comparing and contrasting these three ideas, and also looking at the societal effects.
Crash course. Crash course.
Comedy was a large influence on the 80s culture, specifically through the use of the American dream in individuals. This happened through movies that derived from stereotypical power and money inhibitors. This led to success.
In this day and age, is something that is very necessary for us to live a stable living, such as buying food, shelter, and water, and all necessary things that we need to live. Money is especially used for paying for all of these outside commodities, such as mowing the lawns or having this nice landscape and having quality roads for us to drive on to get from place to place. According to Eric Maskin at Harvard University, a well-paying job is the basis for an American dream. This is basically saying that you need to be financially stable in order to have a solid American dream. A great example of wealth being a huge part of the American dream are celebrities, or let's say more specifically actors. Actors are the types of people that like to portray themselves in public as important because they use that money that they make from movies or TV shows or whatever they act in, and to buy these very expensive clothes and be very flashy because they want to portray themselves as important. So having that feeling of people idolizing you gives you security, and that's part of an actor's American dream, is to have that notoriety of people for them to notice you. And in order to achieve that notoriety from people, for actors, is you need money to pay for all those expensive things that they want to buy and that they want to wear in order to portray themselves as important.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Guess what time it is, guys? It's time for the open bottle thingamajig. What do we have inside? It is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And for our nice, friendly viewers, marshmallow or two. So why did we choose the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? Well, because I'm doing Ghostbusters. Why Ghostbusters? Well, it was made in 1984, made over $30 million, and was the famous comedy in the 80s. Not only that, the Ghostbusters is a great representation of the American dream. Why is that, you might ask? Well, according to Walt Hickey and the Better Finance Organization, the Ghostbusters team has created a nice surrounding to the power of wealth on each individual. And the film, the team of the Ghostbusters starts off as a struggling business, and throughout the film, they just keep getting more and more, I guess, powerful with their business. And with this wealth that they get, they're more known, which is, in the grand scheme of things, what they personally want, which is their personal American dream. During the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man scene, which you'll see shortly, Egon Spengler said, I'm terrified beyond the capacity of rational thought. Why did he say this? Well, in this scene, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is the creation of what they are afraid of. And what they are afraid of is what they have to overcome to reach their dream, which is saving the town, becoming more publicized. Some evidence that helps them do this is societal effects and the behavior and personality of each of these individuals. Ghostbusters is a main focus due to the fact that it displays all of the three factors, which is why we wanted to display it as our opening bottle thingy.
Sorry, Venkman. I'm terrified beyond the capacity for rational thought.
Funny us going out like this, killed by a 100-foot marshmallow man.
We've been going about this all wrong. This Mr. Stay Puft is okay. He's a sailor. He's in New York. We get this guy laid, we won't have any trouble.
In conclusion to the example of Ghostbusters, this film shows how comedy is used in like a sarcastic manner and how the American dream can be portrayed for this team of the Ghostbusters and how it's a film made in the 1980s, specifically 1984. Thank you. Have another marshmallow.
Many people spend their entire life working for the American dream. The American dream is very complex and it's got many layers. However, there are certain symbols that repeatedly show up when we talk about this idea of the American dream. So let's head over to the thought bubble and check these symbols out. The first symbol, and arguably the most common symbol in the American dream, is financial success. Researchers have shown that in poor countries such as Bangladesh, being relatively well off does make a greater well-being. As humans, we need food, rest, shelter, and social contact. And by having financial success, this allows to those things. Social recognition is also a key symbol in the American dream. Professor Tim Kaiser said, social recognition were associated with lower vitality and self-accusation and more physical symptoms. Tim Kaiser said self-acceptance, affiliation, community feeling, and the physical health were associated with higher well-being and less distress. If you're not able to understand your own thoughts and feelings, you will not be able to achieve the American dream.
Comedy was portrayed in the 80s in very many ways. Just like in the 80s, everything was very cheap and the hippies wore very cheap clothing. These days, we are held to almost nearly impossible standards. As if like when you see an obese person, everybody is held to the standard that they have to be super fit and slim and they have to be good looking. And when you see someone like that, just go out of context and you like get screwed over. And then living back then was very cheap. It's like anybody could almost live on their own after high school. These days, college itself costs like $50,000 and the average family income is only $51,000, so it makes it very hard to afford anything.
There are many effects that this can have, one being that they follow the American dream. This can be a good thing and a bad thing. Somebody could focus on trying to achieve their American dream so much that they end up forgetting or ruining their relationships that they have made. However, following their American dream can also be a good thing because it can allow them to set goals. Having a vision to look towards is always a good thing, and it can allow people to stay focused and achieve their American dream. Another effect that it can have is that it ends up granting people their freedoms. One being that they don't have to worry about working their entire life to get their American dream. If they've achieved their American dream, they are free to build relationships and go on living the rest of their life. As people achieve their American dream, they've most likely achieved financial success also. This allows them to obtain many of the items that they've worked for their entire lives. In conclusion, there are many good effects that can come out